Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Dig Perspectives, Twitter, and YouTube. I just did that all wrong. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com. $2.42 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 2%, but that hasn't stopped everything in the top 10 being green. Bitcoin, 67,700 plus, 2,600 plus for Ethereum, and we are 120 billion plus now for Tether market cap. Looks like a new all-time high. I could be wrong. Pretty close to it if it isn't. 34 billion plus for USDC. XRP 54 cents at number 7 spot. We're up 1.6 on the 24 and up 3.7 on the 7-day. The range of price very quickly between 53 and 55 cents. That range has started to open up from this morning, so we'll keep an eye on it. Well, actually, before we get there, let's start here, actually, ladies and gentlemen. It is linked to the best home in the world for private equity. And guess what? I've got something to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. There is a 10% discount right now on Cerebras, on Grok, and on Anthropic until 11:59 Pacific time tonight. Till 11:59 Pacific time tonight. The only question left is, why haven't you clicked the link and gone and gotten some of the best private equity in the world? It's underneath of every video I got. Just go do it. It takes less than 5 minutes to set up and fund your account and buy private equity like the wealthiest 1% of the world do. Don't miss the opportunity. Link underneath the video. Let's get to it. All right, we're looking right here. We'll start with this. First of all, John Deaton debated Senator Warren last night, and if there's one thing clear, he crushed every issue. She had nothing. She looked like the feckless senator that she has been. And let me tell you, another thing, he's going to win. And I've always believed it. And I believed it because I know it was going to take these debates for the rest of Massachusetts to see it. And certainly the world to go along with it. John Deaton is a former JAG attorney. He is not unaccustomed to have to deal with the tough issues. He's done things worse than this, whether it's prosecuting murderers and stuff. You think going on television is hard for him? Obviously, everybody's going to have a little bit of nervous energy, but you know what? He killed it on every single point that came up, and it was just an absolute masterclass in how to debate someone. And I want to tell you, if you want to know what it was like, listen to this.
Extremism, absolutely. Pay attention to not what they say, what they do. Senator Warren just literally said, we need comprehensive immigration reform bill. It was on the table, and she, bipartisan, and she rejected. She's out there saying Vice President Harris is going to bring back that bill. She's literally saying that nationally, and she voted against it. How do you vote? How do you object to 2,500 cap per day? I know these. I went to the border. And I learned that these women are being given Plan B pills because they get raped along the way. I would never demonize these people, but it's a national security crisis. The problem is Senator Warren will say, oh, you call it national security crisis and you're a racist. That's insane. There's only one extremist on this stage tonight, and it's Elizabeth Warren. I'm the moderate, centrist, common sense candidate. It is bankrupting this state. You know, they spend so many billions on the migrants, but can't save Neshoba or Dorchester's Carney Hospital. And Senator Warren does not want immigration reform. She had a chance and she rejected it.
There you have it. And it was a masterclass, no doubt about it. Shout out to John. I will be looking forward to going up and watching him get sworn in because I believe it's going to happen. Next debate on Thursday night. Don't miss it tomorrow night. Breaking news. Former SEC enforcement director says regulators' approach to crypto could change if customized rules are written for industry. Wow, did you come up with that all by yourself? Nonsense is that? Meanwhile, Representative Byron Donald sits down with Kristen Smith from Blockchain Association and says crypto's still in the toddler phase. What you're seeing is an industry that knows how to walk, knows how to grab things, but it's now starting to really understand how to use its body to a certain degree. And so what I see is a burgeoning industry in the United States that could easily be at least a $500 billion industry, if not more. It's certainly more than that. And Donald says that Democrats are not serious about digital assets. Democrat leadership doesn't want a framework for digital assets that will be robust in our economy. Vice President Harris is saying it now because there are some issues in her polling. Sherrod Brown says he wants it now because he's in a tough fight against Bernie Moreno in Ohio, but he doesn't want the FIT 21 bill. Donald calls for a regulatory sandbox for crypto and says he will recommend this to Donald Trump when he sees him this week. He goes on to say, FIT 21 is good legislation. I support it, but I think what the industry really needs is a regulatory sandbox. You guys make the rules because the industry is going to change so fast over the next 5 years. What we already know is that the regulatory agencies of Washington are not nimble enough. They're not smart enough. They're not responsive enough. He says again, to go on to add, Donald says Trump, if he wins in November, is ready to clean house at the regulatory agencies. It's about making sure that the regulators simply do the job of carrying out the mission of the agency was given, not thinking that you're smarter than everybody else and then creating new side missions because you happen to be the chair of the SEC or run the CFTC or Treasury, etc. This is exactly what we've been dealing with, no doubt about it. Here is the latest poll from Polymarket, which is a place that you can go, I guess, place a wager. I guess they do. Not financial advice, not telling anybody to do anything. But Trump's odds of winning here, according to Polymarket, is jumped to 60.1 on Polymarket, leading Harris by 20.2%. Well, let's see what happens after they cheat. Let's see what goes on there. Stellar announced a new collaboration with MasterCard, a global payment service giant, to embed crypto credential system into the Stellar network. I think this is fantastic and absolutely where we need to be, plugging into multi-chains. And we already know that when you look at the existing relationships with central banks, MasterCard and Visa, MasterCard partners Ripple, Consensus, Fluency, and Fireblocks, the list goes on. Stellar's now on it. I think this is amazing for us. And to highlight just what's going on here at Swell as it wraps up, you mean the same Adrian Harris who is advocating for better regulation at Ripple Swell is from Solomon Cromwell, who banned XRP to be traded by institutions after Torres ruled it was not a security? Small world, isn't it? Yes. The same Adrian Harris who put XRP on a green list, took it off of a green list from an SEC recommendation. And I don't mind reminding everybody that Attorney James Murphy, that's right, Meta Lawman, has a FOIA request in as to why that was taken off of the green list, and we've heard nothing back yet. Meanwhile, let's hear what Stuart Alderati talks with Adrian Harris about at Ripple Swell. Take a listen.
How do you see, if at all, the integration of the crypto industry with TradFi?
Yeah. We see more and more interest from TradFi in the space, right? We want innovation to happen, but we want it to be careful and responsible for people to run the water through the pipes and really make sure they're thinking through unintended consequences or how the system is going to work and how it might break. And I think the TradFi folks really bring a little bit more of that sensibility to the space, which is good.
And basically what I'm hearing there is that TradFi is going to bring that kind of framework, that kind of a respect to framework of regulation, right? Because they know how to work within regulation. So, watch out, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we're headed. And this is that 1 minute stablecoin explainer video from Monica Long. I don't need to play it, but you know that RLUSD, the real USD, was a huge focus at Swell. Here's what Nancy Beaton from Uphold, the Chief Revenue and Marketing Officer, had to say about it. Take a listen here.
Question for you, Nancy. Talk a little bit about the use and adoption of stablecoins within the Uphold platform and how you see that potentially changing.
I do think stablecoins are the killer use case. They are screaming utility. They're lower cost and they're just rapid settlement. It's instant. About 90% of all crypto transactions involve some sort of stablecoin in that transaction. So I think you'll see a lot more on the retail side, the easier we make it to make it borderless, easy, fast for people to use.
There you have that. And reminder, just as I did in the earlier video, and I have tons of highlight Ripple with Swell material. You need to see the first video if you haven't seen it as well. But remember, Uphold and Ripple, huge partnership to serve enterprises, right? Big corporations and institutions, ladies and gentlemen. This is a fantastic conversation here from Paul Barron and Ivan Soto-Wright from MoonPay, the CEO. Shout out to both of you. Fantastic conversation here. Lots that I could play, but what I'm going to play right now is a real quick clip here at the end because this is so spot on. This is a crime that I'm going over all of this. It was such a great conversation by both of them, but let me just give you this. How long have we been talking about it? I've even had I'm not even going to get to it. I've had personal meetings with other creators and other top industry people in this space. And one of the things I would always say as a reference is, if you can't make what you're doing feel just as smooth as an interface as working with my PayPal app or my Capital One or Bank of America app or whatever your bank is, right? Those apps are very easy to use. We understand them. We are very well acclimated to them. And we need to have that same kind of user experience. Well, guess what? Ivan Soto-Wright gets it. And that's exactly what they're doing at MoonPay, amongst a million other things that I haven't been able to play in this video. But listen to this. He has the vision.
Possibly maybe within the next year or so. So I would agree with you. I think things are kind of going in that direction. Any other news that you guys can announce from MoonPay today?
Well, just stay tuned with us. I mean, we've got a lot of enhancements to the product experience. Like this year was really a breakout year for MoonPay from a product perspective, in the sense that we basically threw away all of our existing products and said, let's rebuild them from scratch and make the UI look phenomenal. Because when it comes down to this user experience, needs to feel just like Apple Pay. It needs to feel.
There it is. It comes down to it. If you couldn't hear it, this user experience needs to feel like Apple Pay. Well, as long as he's got that vision, I think you got a winner right here. Loving that from MoonPay. Very excited. Now, more to come here. This is Jack McDonald sitting down with Tony from Thinking Crypto and talking about the launch of the stablecoin. Two important clips here. Let's start with this one right here.
Launched. Yep. Tell us about the RLUSD stablecoin.
Well, it's a dollar-backed stablecoin, really right down the middle of the fairway in terms of the attributes, in terms of how we're bringing it. It's a heavily regulated, it will be, once approved, heavily regulated stablecoin, backed very conservatively by US dollar and dollar equivalents. We can talk a little bit more about that. Monthly attestations by a third-party audit firm, highly credible partners in terms of the reserve management, the banking partners. We're working with. We're launching it on both the Ethereum and XRPL ledger, which is a big deal, which we're quite excited about.
Sure.
And really eager to get going. We've been testing for some time, and I'd say in a mature testing phase, both internally and then more recently with third parties. So we're excited.
And it is exciting. Take a listen to this.
Other blockchains. So are there plans to expand eventually to other blockchains that have more interoperability?
Yeah, I think the fact that we launched day one on not only the XRPL, but also on Ethereum tells you that we recognize that there are other L1s that the market will want to utilize, and we want to be supportive and collaborative there. So it's not a winner take all, either with just one stablecoin out there or just one chain. So my sense is that we will launch on other chains over time. That's certainly in our product roadmap.
Other blockchains. Are there?
And there you have it. There'll be more change to come, ladies and gentlemen. And you know why that makes sense to me? Because the XRP ledger has a built-in DEX, a decentralized exchange to be used for the world. But it's not a decentralized exchange unless everything is paired inside of it so you can make a market for it. Then it becomes a world exchange that happens to be decentralized. That is the ultimate goal here. Okay? I mean, you're not going to, it ain't changed. The reality is, take a look at this. Cowboy shows right here. Grayscale files to turn multi-token fund into an ETF. Yeah, they want to convert its large cap fund, which contains Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Avalanche, into an ETF, ladies and gentlemen. Here it comes. It is coming in a big way, and I'm super excited. Don't forget, Tim McCourt from the CME Group was on stage discussing derivatives and ETFs and the like, and it was very clear from the conversation from the first video this morning. Please go watch that video. You will hear him say you do not have to have futures contracts first before having a spot ETF. There's nothing in the regulatory framework or code that suggests it. It doesn't mean that it won't happen that way, but it just, to let you know, full disclosure, they could approve an ETF, spot ETF for XRP before futures if they wanted to. Meanwhile, Securitize was also at Ripple, waiting for some clips there from Carlos Domingo, but it's worth reminding you that why were they there? Because Securitize is serving the Biddle Fund, which is really proxy BlackRock. Biddle is the largest fund for real-world assets of its kind, with approximately $550 million in assets under management as of yesterday. Yeah. And Carlos Domingo from Securitize was on stage at Ripple yesterday. Amazing where this is going. If you can't see it now, you're never going to. XRP is a sleeping giant that is finally waking up. Get ready for some massive gains. Yes, it'll take legislation, I'm sure. But you know what? This is what we're talking about. The same excitement that the Bitcoin crowd has had, we're going to have very soon too, because our time is now. Dark Defender says May 22nd, when we discussed everything will run on the XRP ledger, and today Ripple confirms by saying everything will be tokenized. And I confirm by saying I was saying it before I even became a YouTuber. I've been saying it since 2017, and it is something I believe. And it isn't because one chain will rule them all. It's because this one chain has a decentralized exchange to serve the world. And everything will be tokenized, which means everything will have a pairing on the decentralized exchange that lives on the XRP ledger. Come on in. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.